Hi, my name's Riley, and I'm a pharmacist. Today I wanted to talk about the etymology of the word doctor. Now, in modern English, doctor typically refers to a medical doctor, a physician. It can also refer to a dentist or a vet or even a pharmacist like myself. I have a PharmD degree, which is a doctor of pharmacy degree, and that in turn makes me a doctor of pharmacy. I'm Dr. Riley. However, the reason I wanted to make this video was from a website I was reading, and in the comment section of that website, there were some lay people, non-physician, non-medical people, who were somewhat dismissive of PhDs and other academic types calling themselves doctor or wanting to be called doctor. And the general mood was that these people believed that academics were wanting to be called doctor because they wanted to get some of that prestige that physicians enjoy from the title of doctor. And that's slightly backwards. If you look into the etymology of the word doctor, etymology being the origin of words and how they evolve over time, doctor in English, okay, so doctor started out as a Latin term, doctor, and it comes from the Latin verb docere, which means to teach or instruct. And so a doctor was a teacher or instructor. This was in Latin. It then entered French, which I don't pronounce French at all, but it was docteur, doctor. And it had a very similar meaning of a teacher or instructor, but it was more commonly used at that time for religious instruction, not just instruction in general. From there, it entered English, and in the 13th century, in English, doctor referred exclusively to religious instruction, that being like the doctors of the Catholic Church, like St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine. And it might have referred to present, just like if you were going to Sunday school, you might have a doctor teaching Sunday school kind of thing. So then in the 14th century, the aspect of instruction was then expanded. So no longer was it simply religious instruction, it now included other types of instruction. And that in the 14th century, the late 14th century, is when you started to see people who attended university and earned a degree were then referred to by the title doctor, because they were now instructors. They were the learned terminal degree earning academic types. And so those PhD style people earned the title doctor back in the 14th century. In the 16th century is when we finally see the term doctor being commonly applied to physicians and other medical professionals. By medical professionals, I just mean that not everybody back then, quote unquote, practicing medicine was a physician. There were it was a very, an emergingly scientific time coming from a very mystical past. And speaking of that, the term for a physician or healer prior to the 16th century, the common English term was leech. Now, doctors, physicians weren't called leeches named after the blood-sucking worms. Instead, it comes from a Danish, German, Proto-Indo-European root, which I cannot pronounce at all, but it turned into and morphed into the word leech. And that word throughout time had referred to magic, sorcery, magicians, conjurers, as well as healers, because back then the healing arts were more mystical and not as scientific. And so they shared a word with all of these, mystical magic using people. So doctors were leeches up until the 16th century, when it became common to then refer to them as doctors, because by then medicine had started to morph into a more scientific discipline. And it was felt that since we were already referring to these academics who go to university and earn their degrees as doctors, well, then we'll also refer to the physicians and surgeons and healers as doctors as well. So that's why I thought it was kind of funny on this website where people were commenting, oh, these academic PhDs are trying to co-opt the prestige of the title doctor, when really it was the exact opposite historically. So even though doctor most commonly in modern English refers to a physician or other medical professional, it originally and in a way more rightfully belongs to the academic PhD types, insofar as they were more commonly called doctor 200 years prior to the medical professionals. That's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I will see you again. Bye-bye.